My name is Anthony Olanrewaju, popularly called Tonydoo. I am a brand and communications manager with Digital Cabal Africa. Apart from these, I am an IT expert, a photographer, and a cinematographer as well. I was born in the early 90s. I grew up in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Schooled in my secondary school was in Sacred Heart Catholic College, Abeokuta, where I proceeded to Obafemi Awolowo University, where I studied computer engineering school. Then did my master's in the University of Lagos. I have a master's degree in information technology. Digital Cabal Africa is a platform that encompasses people, professionals in the creative industry, professionals in the advertising industry, professionals in the branding industry. So it's more like a network of professionals whereby we have different programs that have been outlined in order to function as a bridge between those who are not in the digital profession yet and those who are already experts in the profession. So it's more like a platform meant to bridge the gap between those who are looking to enter into the digital industry and those who are already professionals in the industry. A creative would actually be a fashion designer in a way. You know, the person would actually be a creative because he or she is trying to create something out of nothing. So the moment you are trying to create something out of nothing, it qualifies you as being a creative. Because I usually tell people that in the world of today, you just have to make sure that you keep creating. You never know who is watching. So the moment you are able to add a bit of this to a bit of that, and then you're able to eventually make out something from nothing, you are a creative. So we can begin to name them now: photographers, cinematographers, IT people. They are creatives as well, because for somebody to actually build a software or build an app which would function perfectly to serve millions of people, the person is a creative. People who are in the movie industry, actors, actresses, they are creatives. Comedians, all these skit makers on Instagram and so on, they are creatives really. So it's actually a broad umbrella name that we can use to describe all these people. Okay, so if we take a critical look at the creative industry, it is an industry that actually matured over time. It is an industry whereby nobody really gave the creative guys a chance, so to say, in the initial times. But now everybody is beginning to appreciate creativity in our locality and in Nigeria at large. So it is an industry that has actually grown, in fact, beyond what people would have expected of the industry. In comparison with what is obtainable outside Nigeria, I would say the creative industry in Nigeria is we are beginning to compete globally. You know, gone were the days when videos, images of different projects had to be taken outside Nigeria. An instance is when we look at the music video industry, for instance. We have a lot of music videos that are actually being shot here in Nigeria, contrary to the times when videos have to be shot in South Africa, in the United States, and so on. So I think we have actually come to an age whereby the level of professionalism and the level of creativity and the amount of work that goes into whatever project that we have at any point in time, the effort is so mammoth, it's so huge, and we are beginning to reap the rewards. Wow, so technology affecting the creative industry today, I would say it has been a very positive one. It has indeed affected the creative industry positively, because we have many people who today wouldn't have been known in their creative space if not for the advent of mobile phones, the advent of internet, the advent of people being able to broadcast or being able to share their content with the global world. So it has actually had a positive impact on creativity and creative professionals in general. Personally, I do not think there is any negative impact of technology on creativity, because back then, when people want to create a thing or the other, they're actually limited to resources. They are limited to the things they can find around them. So it limits their level of invention, it limits their thinking abilities. But now, you wanting to create a particular concept or trying to create anything at all these days, it is a lot easier if you can just, within the split of a second, just go to Google, check out what is obtainable, what is happening in the developed world, check out what's going on in the United States, check out what's going on in Canada. Then you begin to think outside the box. Then you are not just limited by a geographical location. So technology has been able to help us transcend beyond the physical borders that we might have found ourselves in. For photography, there are a couple of equipment that we actually use. So back then, the cameras that were used in those days, they were the analog cameras. Now we are having DSLR cameras, which are the digital single lens reflex cameras. We are beginning to have mirrorless cameras. So we're actually switching from those days when things used to be so manual. Now, back then, you would actually capture images on a film whereby you are limited in space. But now, images are being captured on memory cards. Memory cards can be as high as 512 gig to 56 gig and so on. So you have more space. You can easily delete once you take a picture and you don't like. But compared to those days, you would actually be, you have to get your shot perfect. You can't afford to waste space. You can't afford to take test shots and so on. Likewise, the software that we actually use in editing these pictures these days, they are a lot easier. In fact, you do not have to have a software installed on your system for you to edit a picture or for you to edit a video. You can just go online. We have online softwares that can actually help you edit these pictures, edit the videos, even create some very excellent animation. So it has actually helped a lot in photography. The number one thing that I think we have to do in order to bring up the young people to speed is we need to include them. There is this idea of inclusion. Now, many young people nowadays, like I said earlier, they have smartphones. Now the question is, what do they do with the phones? Most people actually go on these phones, go on these platforms to consume content. So they go on these platforms to consume content. Now, I tell people that when you consume, you're losing out of the, so it's actually a big chunk of the pie. So you consume so much, it's actually going to make you lose a big chunk of the pie. So for the young ones coming up, the first thing that I think is we need to digitally include them. And how do we do this? We need to begin to let them realize that there is much more they can do with the devices available at their disposal. So somebody, a child of like 5 or 8 years can begin to learn programming, can begin to learn photography, can begin to learn how the science behind apps, how they operate and how they function. Now the 8-year-old child or 10-year-old child learning about all these things does not mean he will start creating. But for him getting to understand how they work would actually go a long way in helping him, and is going to develop his mental capability to a very great extent. So digital marketing, right now, I am happy a lot of businesses are beginning to understand they are beginning to understand the importance. And I tell people, if by this year 2021 your business is not digitally enabled, then you should know that you are missing on a whole lot. 80% of my business is actually run online. So there is an aspect that I tell businesses to go into. If they cannot do it, they should hire professionals to do it for them, which is getting found on Google. Now, getting found on Google is not just people going there to type your name. Getting found on Google typically relates to the fact that somebody goes online, searches for your product or your service. Now, get the difference. They are not going there to search for your name. They do not know your company. They do not know your business name. So they are going online to search for your product or your service. So if Google returns your company or your business on that first page, you will never go broke for the remaining of your life. So many businesses, they need to start adopting that. I do not know. I know a lot of businesses are yet to get on board, but the earlier the business does, the better it is for the business. There are some pages, there are some sites that you need to go to whereby you need to register on. So broadly explained, I would say the most common method is what I call search engine optimization. So search engine optimization is a series of tactics and strategies that you adopt. Normally you have to be tech savvy to an extent to be able to make sure you carry out this. So you ensure that for any search term or any keyword that is being searched on Google, your business or your brand or your company comes out as, if not number one, just make sure you're on the first page. Like I tell people, the moment your business is not on the first page when it is being searched for any product or any service, trust me, it's more like you're dead, because nobody ever goes to the second page of Google. Trust me, if you're looking for anything now, all you do is go to the first page. Any results you see on the first page, you pick your answer from there. If nobody ever goes to the second page. So my boss used to tell me that the best place to actually hide a dead body is on the second page of Google. So in clear terms, what you should be doing if you want your business to rank on the first page of Google is, number one, you need to begin to build your inbound links and your outbound links. So when you build your inbound links typically relate to the linking between pages, the linking between your H1 tags, your H2, H3 tags, the linking between the paragraph text and a couple of other things. So outbound links would actually mean links that are actually going out of your website and are linking to other people's websites. So now that takes me to another aspect of you getting your page on the first page, getting your brand or company on the first page of Google, which is affiliate marketing. So you need to also leverage on affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing can be likened, fine, it is not totally equal, but it can be likened to what we call influencer marketing. So you can leverage on that because people only do businesses based on three factors. Number one, they do businesses with people they know, they do businesses with people they like, then they do businesses with people they trust, in that order. So you would want to make sure you leverage on influencer marketing. Look for somebody who is already ahead of you, somebody who is advanced, somebody who people love. Then they can advertise your products. People will buy more when they can connect with someone they like advertising a particular product. Apart from that, you would also have you'd want to list your page on other search engines as well. Fine, it's only in Nigeria, okay, not in Nigeria, but in this part of the world that we happen to know that it is only Google that we refer to as a search engine, and we assume that for the rest of the world. It is important to say at this point that In China, there is nothing like Google. But here, all we know, all we do, all we eat, all we drink is actually from Google. In China, they use Baidu. So, but you have to do what works for your locality, for your geographical location. So that is why you have to find a way to dominate Google. There are still a couple of other steps that you can take in order to make sure you rank on the first page of Google. Nigeria having its own locally made search engine. Well, I would say it is possible. I think we already have one, but people do not consider it a search engine. But I use it a lot, and that is Nairaland. Because once you go to Nairaland and you search, no, you don't even need to go to Nairaland. Go to Google itself. If you need any Nigerian view of any topic whatsoever, go to Google, type the name of the Nigerian situation or the problem, then beside it just write Nairaland. There is no way somebody somewhere at a point in time in the past would have actually talked about that topic before, and they are going to give you localized opinions, localized solutions to that problem. So advertising has changed in leaps and bounds, trust me, because back then there wasn't anything like digital. Digital simply means in so much that you have, in as far as you have a screen that you look at, you are a target for digital advertising. So at times we come across digital advertising and we don't even know. We make them look as if they are generic. Generic meaning it is being orchestrated by the populace, whereas it's actually an idea, it's a strategy by the advertising agencies. For creatives out there watching me, I would say something. You're taking too much time. I tell people, anything you want to do, just do. Like, you don't need to waste time. Just do it. If you're planning to start a YouTube channel today, start it. You're complaining you don't have a good device, you don't do this. Please, just start recording with something. Now, people are not interested in the quality of your videos. People are not interested in the quality of the footage and whatsoever you have. They are rather interested in what you have to give. So what value are you planning to provide? What type of content are you planning to provide? So like I tell people, and it is my favorite quote of all times, which is, don't stop creating. You never know who's watching. My name is Anthony Olarewaju, popularly called Tonydoo. Keep watching Rave Tech on Rave TV.